Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do social security number formatting in Microsoft SQL Server. My name is Wally. I'm a SQL Server DBA with over 25 years of experience in Microsoft SQL Server and other types of RDBMS. You may contact me in one or more ways as shown below. I'm also the founder of Data Group or PBSoft since 2013, instructor, writer, and IT consultant since the late 90s with a growing customer base. Now, let's go see that SSN formatting. Before we proceed, I want to give you a disclaimer. Certain social security number ranges are reserved for specific purposes, including use in advertisements and promotional materials. For example, the range 987654320 through 987654329, which is the one we're going to use here, is specifically reserved for this purpose. Now, let's go see how we're going to use that. As you can see on my screen, and if you have seen already my previous videos, I like to work with temp tables. So this should be no exception to the rule. Now, normally when I do examples of data manipulation and that kind of things, I like to start by dropping the temp table, even if it does not exist, like in this case. So I have a drop table statement for the temp table, and I also have the create statement for the temp table. Now the temp table is going to be called SSN temp with the pound sign in the beginning because it's going to be a local type of temp table only available to my session. I could make it global by putting 2 pound signs if I wanted to, but that's not the case for the moment. The table is going to have 2 columns. One is going to be full name. It's going to be a bar card 15. And the other one is going to store the social security number, which is going to be a card 9. Now, normally, if you count all the characters in a social security number, you can, including the hyphens, you're going to have 11 characters. So, in this case, I'm using 9 because I only want to store the numbers. Now, the hyphens, I'm going to create them on my query. I don't need to store the hyphens. So, just to give you an idea, every character that you store in a card type of column will actually use 1 byte. So if you have 1,000,000 records or 1,000,000,000 records and you store the hyphens, multiply 1,000,000,000 by 2. And that's the amount of bytes that you're going to save in your database. So car is a fixed length data type, 9 bytes per row in this case. So we got to be careful when we use that. So if we use less than that, we're still going to use the whole 9 characters. But anyways, we're going to use the 9 anyways. So let's proceed to create a table. Also, it's going to drop it in case that exists, but if it doesn't matter because it doesn't exist, I'm pretty sure. Okay, we have our table. Now let's put some data on the table. Okay, we're going to insert fake people with fake social security numbers. Okay, we got 3 people here: Ralph Smith, Hank Jones, Jim Peters. Sorry if that's one of your names, but I'm pretty sure this is none of your social security numbers because these are fake. So let's proceed to insert the values. 3 rows affected, that means we inserted the values. Let's just double check that we have the values on the table. And we do, as you can see. We got our 3 people, we got the full names, and the social security numbers. Let's proceed with the next step. The next step is basically more for verification purposes. We're going to get the length of the column for the SSN. Now, we use a function called LEN, and we specify the name of the column. We do, and this is something I like to do, we do some aliasing to that. We're going to call it column length. So let's see what we get from that. And this basically tells me that each value on the 3 records on that table are actually 9 characters in length, which is what we want for the moment. We're going to do some record extraction, and we're going to use another function called left. And what this function does is that we specify a column and we specify how many characters to the left we want to extract. As you can see right here, we're selecting the top 3 values, which are the only 3 records that we have. We say left, column name, and how many characters we want to retrieve. And there it is, 987. Now we're going to use another function called SUBSTRING. Now this is a very interesting function because we pass a value and we say exactly from what starting position and how many characters we want to retrieve from the column. In this case, we're going to start with the 4th position and we're going to retrieve 2 characters. Let's execute that. And there it is. Now we're going to get the last 4 values at the end of the column. For that, we use the write function. Specify the column and how many characters we want to get. Okay, so let's go and see that. And there it is. In this portion, we're going to see the record extraction using the hyphens. As you can see, I'm using the left, substring, and the write function. So we're going to read from the table, and we're going to get the whole value. Let's execute that and see how it looks. And there it is. Now, if you look at the results portion of the screen, we got the people's names, and we have the social security numbers well formatted. 987-65-4320 and so forth. We just have to use these functions here, and we're saving space on our database. As a bonus to this video, I've added an example using variables. In this case, the variable we're going to use is called SSN. As you can see on my screen here, we declare the variable as a car9. Then we assign a value. In this case, I'm going to use also another fake social security number, and we put on our functions. And this is where we execute the query. Now let's see what we get from that. Just to show you all the things that we get the SSN without the hyphens, the length, values to the left, values on the center, values in the end, and the full SSN with the hyphens. This is just to give you an idea how you can format and extract information from a table that has social security numbers, and if you need to get just the values on the left or the values in the middle or the values on the far right, the last 4, you can do that as well. If you like this video, please leave a comment, subscribe, like, and also, just so you know, on the notes on the video, I'm going to leave a link so you can download this code and run it on your computer. This code uses temporary tables, which means there's no danger on modifying anything. It will just, if you run the whole query, it will just execute. It's going to be hard to read because you're going to get a lot of results on the screen, but it will give you an idea. You can run it by portions, just like I did on the video. All right? Thank you for watching.